It's 2012, Africa, Malawi, a typical impoverished rural village. The group village headman, the GVH, is talking to a room crowded with villagers. The GVH is saying that Malawians are dying from hunger and face-to-face will no longer fund costly chemical fertilizers. The GVH asks if anyone knows about compost and manure. Silence. Finally, Emily Zolit stands up and says she knows about cow manure, but so few people have even goats or chickens, much less a cow. And human waste manure? Chief Sambani remarks that Malawians just don't do that kind of thing. Face to Face proposes a 3-day compost workshop for 40 families. We spend about $150 for this workshop. Now it's 2 years later, 2014, same crowded room. The GVH reminds everyone that Malawians are still dying from hunger, but no one is starving in his community. In just 2 years, the number of compost pits has increased from 0 to around 300. The maize is much healthier, there is food. Now the GVH asks what people think about a human waste manure workshop. Everyone agrees. Yes, they want to learn. After the meeting, we're walking down a path, and an excited woman comes running. Zikomo, Zikomo. This woman is thanking us exuberantly even though she isn't part of our program. Her friend, who is in our program, taught this woman, whose name is Lisbeth, about composting. Now Lisbeth's maize garden has 2 rows grown with chemicals and 2 rows grown with compost. Look at the huge difference. No wonder she's excited. A little while later, 6 HIV-positive women corner us, telling us they want to participate too. In return, they'd have no problems letting everyone know their HIV status. How can we say no? Everyone wants to join in. So Face to Face has gone from maize monoculture to organic gardening to permaculture in 2 short years. How does our permaculture project work? We have 2 communities form 2 teams of 30 people. Each team undergoes team building and permaculture training. Each GVH donates a plot of land that lays unfarmed, barren, and dusty during the long dry season. In other words, it's like most of the land around a village. Each team designs their own permaculture garden. They'll use compost and manure from animal and human waste. They'll replace maize monoculture with a large variety of plants. Maybe they'll grow grasses for goats to graze, and whose droppings help rebuild soil fertility. Maybe they'll interplant vegetables, shrubs, and trees to provide short-term and long-term food supplies. What's important is that they decide what to do. The teams share their experiences with their communities. One way they do this is through youth group sports tournaments, which draws thousands of people. We'll feature our rising stars, the first openly HIV-positive youth soccer and netball team in the world. Over the 2-year project, the 2 communities transformed those barren fields into year-round productive land. This is just one of Face to Face's many projects impacting thousands of people. How do we do it? Here's where we start. We don't rely on economy, or infrastructure, or government, or large NGOs, or a gadget or invention. We think a drought is just around the corner. We think corruption will probably continue. And sure, we're a bit cynical, but it's a good starting point. We believe in first taking the time to develop relationships. We can spend years doing nothing more than strengthening human relationships in the villages. But those relationships can give birth to an exciting community spirit, a spirit that enables villages to embrace permaculture as a means to be self-reliant. We do have one big challenge, and that's from academia, large NGOs, foundations who, when we ask for funding, make us propose a specific need, a specific strategy, a specific intervention. But being specific isn't how we work. We focus on the big picture, the long-term picture, the human picture. Please give us a chance. Face to Face doesn't need a lot, but we do ask for funding. In return, we'll make your support go a long ways. We'll aim to make entire communities become self-reliant. Thinking big can indeed improve the specifics. So join us in believing that civic ownership and self-reliance can enable communities to tackle their own issues without our specific intervention. This is Ken Wong from the Face to Face AIDS Project.